We're diving into the core of how LLMs might tackle like really complex problems, maybe even innovate alongside us. But first, we have to unpack this big question. Are these models truly reasoning, or are they just really good at mimicking human thought? On one hand, you have these studies, like the one on emergent abilities of large language models back in 2022, and it highlights these jaw-dropping moments where LLMs are doing things we thought were exclusive to human brains, things that you wouldn't expect. But then there's research, even from just last year, language models don't always say what they think, suggesting that maybe it's just a super advanced game of pattern matching, not actual understanding. Is the AI getting an A on the test because it studied or because it just memorized the answer key?
Exactly. Showing their work.
Exactly.
So how do you even assess that, though? It's not like it's writing out its reasoning on a chalkboard.
That's where chain-of-thought prompting comes in.
Okay.
So instead of just giving an LLM a prompt and getting an answer, we ask it to break down its reasoning step by step, like it's explaining it to us mere mortals.
So instead of just saying the answer is 42,
Exactly.
it's got to show us how it got to 42. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting.
And research papers, there's a 2022 paper on chain-of-thought prompting elicits reasoning in large language models.
Okay.
Shows this is crucial. By doing this, we can peek inside the black box of LLMs and start to understand their internal logic a little bit better.
Okay. But how do we know the LLM isn't just making up a bunch of BS to sound smart? Is it actual logic, or is it just stringing together words that sound good together?
That's incredibly important, and researchers are on it. The 2023 paper, Measuring Faithfulness in Chain-of-Thought Reasoning, highlights how crucial it is to make sure the LLM's chain of thought aligns with actual human reasoning patterns.
It's not enough to sound smart.
Right.
It has to think smart, like a human expert would.
Exactly.
That's a high bar.
It is a high bar.
Hold on, before we get too far down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
These massive LLM, they require immense computing power, right? What about folks who don't have a Google-sized server farm in their basement?
You're hitting on a really critical point.
Okay.
The cost and resources needed for these giant LLMs are like a major concern. But this is where it gets really exciting. Research suggests that we can actually distill the reasoning abilities of these massive LLMs into smaller, more efficient models.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
No more needing a supercomputer just to dip your toes into AI reasoning. But how does that actually work?
Think of it more like a mentorship program, but for AI. The 2023 paper, Teaching Small Language Models to Reason, dives into this. Researchers are using techniques like knowledge distillation, where a smaller model is basically trained to mimic the behavior of a larger, more powerful LLM.
So it's like the little LLM is shadowing the bigger one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not just about copying the answers. The goal is to transfer that underlying thought process, like those logical steps that make the reasoning genuine.
Okay, so no shortcuts.
And there's another exciting avenue researchers are exploring called Symbolic Chain-of-Thought Distillation.
That sounds intense.
Yeah.
Like some kind of super-powered AI boot camp. What's going on in that realm of research?
Imagine taking those master architects' blueprints from our earlier example, right? In this approach, researchers are finding ways to extract these symbolic representations of the reasoning steps from a large LLM and use them to train the smaller models.
So instead of building a massive new building from scratch, they're using like pre-designed efficient blueprints to train these smaller LLMs.
This shift towards like leaner, more accessible LLM reasoning is incredibly promising. It could democratize access to these powerful AI capabilities, putting them in the hands of researchers, developers, even everyday users.
Okay, I love where this is going. Smaller, more efficient LLMs that can still reason like the big league. We haven't even touched on the fact that these LLMs might be able to see the world around them someday.
It's true.
That's a whole other level of sci-fi.
And this is where things get really mind-blowing, because the Awesome-LLM-Reasoning repository you shared, it's packed with research on what are called multimodal models. These are LLMs that can understand and reason about not just language.
Hold on, back up a second. We're talking about AI that can actually process what it sees. Understand a picture and then reason about it.
That's right.
That's like next level stuff.
Absolutely. We're moving beyond just like generating captions for images. We're talking about models that can truly grasp the meaning of what they see and use that to solve problems, make decisions, even get creative.
Give me an example, because this is getting wild.
Picture this. Instead of just describing what's in a photo,
Right.
an LLM could analyze a photo of, like, a traffic intersection and reason about the flow of vehicles, potentially even predicting traffic jams before they happen.
From automating emails to preventing traffic jams, these multimodal LLMs are starting to sound a little too smart for my comfort.
Right.
But I have to admit, I'm completely hooked. What else can these models do?
So one really exciting area is robotics. We're talking about robots that can navigate complex spaces, interact with objects, maybe even assist with surgery.
Okay, now that's a future I can get behind. But seriously, this takes us beyond just like understanding images. We're talking about LLMs, like developing a sense of spatial awareness.
You're exactly right. Research on models like spatial VLM, I think this one came out just this year, shows how LLMs are gaining the ability to reason about 3D spaces, manipulate objects in their minds, even predict how those objects will interact.
This is incredible. We're witnessing the birth of a whole new kind of intelligence.
And that's the beauty of this field, right? Every new discovery just opens up even more questions, pushing us further down this rabbit hole of, like, AI possibility.
Right.
Who knows what breakthroughs are just around the corner?
But as we celebrate these advancements, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room, right? What are the potential, like, downsides of all this?
Yeah, you're right. It's crucial to approach these powerful technologies with a healthy dose of caution. As LLMs become more sophisticated, we need to ensure that they're developed and deployed responsibly, always considering the potential impact on society.
So alongside all the excitement, there's this parallel conversation happening about
Yes, absolutely.
ethics, bias, ensuring these powerful tools are used for good.
Absolutely. And that's a conversation we all need to be a part of.
Because the future of AI isn't just about, like, algorithms and data sets, right?
Yeah.
It's about shaping a world where these technologies empower us, not overpower us.
That's a powerful thought to end on. We've covered so much ground today, from the fundamental question of whether LLMs can truly reason.
They really have.
To the mind-blowing potential of multimodal models.
Yeah, and the key takeaway here is this is an ongoing journey. The line between sophisticated pattern matching and genuine understanding.
Correct.
It's becoming more and more blurred, and that's what makes this field so captivating.